it ready now? All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another weekend of Black College Experience. We have had a very, very, very busy week in Black College sports. We had some moves, some changes, some new coaches, some conference changes, some upset people, some upset alumni, some happy fans, some angry fans. But this week, we got a lot of people that said they're going to call in because there's a lot of people that want to voice their opinion about what happened with North Carolina A&T. That number, we do have a new number. It's 877-279-3109. Again, it's 877-279-3109. Of course, you can always download the app, and Spreaker is one of them if you want to roll with us live. I'm here in Atlanta. Jared, what's going on in Baton Rouge?
Man, I'm happy this week. I mean, shocking news, like you said, everybody wants to call in. Hopefully, people say they're going to call in and voice their opinions on this Bigsouth move for North Carolina A&T. But, if you can't call in, you can chat. If you go to the Spreaker link, like Keisha said, you can chat with us. I can see your chats. I can tell people what you're saying. So in the 3 years we've been here, we haven't had anyone chat yet. So hopefully we'll get some people to chat with us on that form, on that feature using Spreaker, so that we can have more interaction from HBCU fans, because this is your show. Kels?
Absolutely. So roll with us again. Roll with us and let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Because again, like Derek said, this move from to the Big South, it was a major move. We know how it went down 2 years ago with Hampton, and people talked about Hampton. So now we here with North Carolina A&T. We also, the thing that I really, people get into the numbers and the logistics, and they talk about, the difference in the driving time and the travel. But my main focus when we get to this is to talk about the culture. So when we get to that, I want to focus on the culture of what's happening. So where do you want to start at, dear?
Well, let's wait. We're going to get some people to call in first. And so I don't want to already have started that discussion before we get people on. But, hey, if no one calls in, me and you will take it away. But first and foremost, the first thing I want to talk about. And it's not necessarily HBCU related directly, but 2 HBCU alums got Super Bowl rings last Sunday. My Kansas City Chiefs came back again to win the Super Bowl. And the 2 HBCU alums that earned the Super Bowl rings, so I have it here because you posted about it.
It's Alex Brown
out of South Carolina State University, a cornerback, and Terry Bradden, a quarterback out of Howland, Tuskegee. He coaches on a defensive quality assistant for my Kansas City Chiefs. So kind of feels good to have, Mississippians earning Super Bowl rings and HBCU alums earning Super Bowl rings. But Kels, did you watch the game last week?
I absolutely did. I watched every bit of it, and
I know you
in my
probably
mind,
like Derek probably pulling his hair out.
Super excited because I'm one of those people. I say this all the time. It's 4 quarters to a game, and I did. I honestly did. I chose silently because I'm like, I just can't do it out loud. But during the middle of the week, I was like, I really believe that Kansas City is going to pull this off. And a couple of people laughed at me. They was like, nah, it's not going to happen. But it was great to see Andy Reid at 61 years old get his Super Bowl ring. And I didn't know, this is kind of going off the unbeaten path, I didn't realize until I started watching this Michael Vick story, the story behind Andy Reid and his sons and stuff. So it was, really good to see him get to that, get the Super Bowl ring. But, again, congratulations to both Terry and Alex, both getting Super Bowl rings as well. Shout out to South Carolina State, Bethune-Cookman, and Tuskegee. So it was just, it was a good thing. That was the carrying the Super Bowl rings, and I did again. I watched every bit of the Super Bowl. I'm not really a halftime person. I enjoyed thoroughly the commercials or some of the commercials, but it was just been great. It was a great game, and I think the best part of it is when the fourth the fourth quarter came, we're talking about 21 unanswered points. So it was. I know you were happy, but again, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, I'm excited. I've been a Chiefs fan for 30 years. It's been 50 years since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. And on that team, there were a lot of HBCU alums on that squad. So,
correct.
It's been a lot of HBCU players that have played for my Chiefs. So, hopefully we can try to get some of those HBCU alums that have played for the Kansas City Chiefs to call in one weekend and just talk about what this Super Bowl really means to them as former Chiefs, and also talk a little bit about their black college experience. So I'm waiting on a good friend of mine to make some connections for me, and hopefully we can have that on the black college experience with those HBCU alums who have played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Just talk about just what the Super Bowl means to the Chiefs and also their black college experience. I think it's awesome. We need more HBCU players in the NFL. We need it. So more HBCU players winning Super Bowl rings is a good thing. So
right.
But since we are talking about football, there's another football league that started up, and I don't want to say start, but made its return, and that is.
Wait. Before you go to that, I want to know what you think of this, because I thought this is where you were going.
Okay.
And I want to know what you think of this, because y'all know I live behind the future is female, and it's Black History Month.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
So this is probably going to be a highlight tomorrow. And this in my mind, when I saw this flash across the ticker this morning when I was still in Alabama, I was thinking, this is all Doug Williams. Being that Ron Rivera has gone on to the Washington Redskins and he's their head coach, he has hired Jennifer King to join his staff as a full-time assistant. Now, this will be a historic move for the newly Redskins head coach. This would make Jennifer King, become the first African-American woman to coach full-time in NFL history. Tell me something. Tell me Doug ain't behind it. That's the only thing I keep on saying. Come on, tell me Doug ain't behind it. It's just too big for me.
Well, she has a relationship with Rivera, I think, from the Panthers. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, Doug had to sign off on it. But here's the thing with this. It's great to see these young ladies who have played football, maybe not, in college, because, they don't let them play in college a lot. But these women are playing semi-pro football. They're learning the game. They were taught the game. Whoever's on speakerphone, I'm going to need you to get off speakerphone because I'm getting a lot of feedback. But they have been taught the game by their fathers, their uncles, football coaches, anyone who has learned, who knows the game. These ladies have played the game at a high level. Maybe not college football like drafted in the NFL, but I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't have a problem with a woman coaching football. Some men may have a problem with that, but they need to sit down somewhere if they do.
Okay, you can go ahead. I just wanted to drop that in there.
Hey, whoever's on speakerphone, please get off speakerphone.
Yeah, I want to drop that nugget in there because it's Black History Month. Go ahead.
Yes, indeed. I'm glad you did. I mean, I love that. I love that. But there's another football league that's starting up right now after the NFL just completed its season. Coming back into the fold is the XFL. And while we hope that there will be more HBCU alums on the XFL roster, we do have 10 HBCU alums that made the opening day roster. I would like to see more. One name, Kels, I know you're going to like when I get to that. But let me run down these rosters right quick, these names right quick, so that we can give these guys their shine. The Dallas Renegades have one HBCU player on their squad. Offensive tackle Justin Evans out of South Carolina State. The DC Defenders also have one tight end, Carrie Lee out of Bowie State. Houston Rough Riders have two. DB Deji Olate, I'm not going to even try, out of North Carolina A&T. Defensive lineman Demetrius Rainey out of Tennessee State. The Wildcats, Los Angeles Wildcats have 3. Martez Carter out of Grambling State, Brandon Barnes out of Alabama State, and Roderick Henderson out of Alabama State. The St. Louis Battlehawks have 2. Most notably, Marquette King, who was kicking at a Pro Bowl level before John Gruden brought his behind to Oakland, and then he cut Marquette King, and no one picked him up. But he's now punting in the XFL, and Leonard Tillery Kales is playing for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Tampa Bay Vipers have.
So I hope you don't think I'm surprised, because I've been talking about that for the last 2 weeks.
I know.
So no, I'm not.
But Tampa Bay.
Did you get a chance to watch them? Did you get a chance to check out any of the games?
Oh, most definitely. Hell yes, I checked out a few. The Tampa Bay Vipers have wide receiver Daniel Williams out of Jackson. He had a big game today. I think he had like 4 catches for like 93 yards. So he was the leading receiver for the Vipers. So congratulations to all the HBCU alums that have made their XFL debuts. I hope more get a chance to showcase their abilities. I hope McMahon expands the XFL if it is successful, because we need more HBCU players able to showcase their abilities, not just in the NFL, not just in the CFL, not just in the Arena League until it goes away, but this is a viable league for our HBCU athletes to showcase their abilities. PP, what's going on, LB? How you doing?
I'm a little bit on the weather, but I'll make it.
Oh, well, hope you feel better. Now, I saw you post about Daniel Williams, so I know.
That's what I was going to say. I did. I just retweeted that. Yeah.
So I know you watched the XFL. Now, I did go down the line looking at the stats, looking for stats, and I didn't really see a whole lot of HBCU players with a lot of stats. I think Henderson had 1 tackle, but Daniel Williams was carrying the torch for HBCU players in the XFL. What do you think about just the overall impact that he had today, and what other HBCU players we can look for from other HBCU players in the XFL?
I think that this time around, the XFL is they're just trying to be a regular football league and not be so gimmicky like they were before. They got some stuff I think the NFL is going to pick up, like kickoffs. You can't move the ball. You can't. They kick the ball off, and nobody can move until the player receives the ball.
I like that.
So that's going to be unique. Yeah, but Daniel, he showed. He had 6 catches for 123 yards. So right now he is trying to showcase his skills or hope to land on an NFL team. And it was off to a good start so far today. He just needs Quentin Flowers, that former USF quarterback. He needs to be the starter, not
Aaron Murray. You know he's a former Chiefs quarterback, so I'm not going to let you be bashing on former Chiefs, even though he did suck today. He probably feels like he should have him a Super Bowl ring, but unfortunately, no. Kels, what was your impression of the return of the XFL?
The difference in the 2001 and what it's looking like now, it was like, it's a complete difference. And I think it's pretty exciting. You're talking about, and I heard a lot of people talking about the Texas team mainly. So a lot more people, I think it's going to be a lot more pushing behind. And I did listen to you mention when you talked about the AFL and that for a while. I guess it depends on where you were, because those teams, depending on where you were, they actually had a large following in a lot of places. Iowa had a large following, Arizona had a large following, Huntsville, Alabama had a large following. So depending on where you were, those AFL teams had large followings until, of course, most of them went defunct. So it's like they have them no more. But I think it's great because you can actually expand. You have the XFL now, and there's so many other leagues that you can play in to still get that playing time when you still have that, that I say life still left in you. So I think it's a great thing for these athletes.
Exactly. I think it's an awesome opportunity because we know what the NFL is. NFL is the I guess the highest level. So, but someone can come in and give these young men a chance to showcase their skills and abilities, make a little money, and perhaps have a chance to make it into the NFL. But hey, we'll see. Up next, I want to talk about this before we get into the rest of the show. We don't have a lot of HBCU alums playing in the NBA, but we do have one who's still making an impact, and that is Tennessee State alum Robert Covington. And he was just involved in a monster trade, trading him from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Houston Rockets, a team where we know those two teams. He ain't really worried about scoring with James Harden and Russell Westbrook with the ball. So he's going to be there to basically play defense, block shots, and rebounds. But in his debut, he comes up big. I think he scored 14 points. Let's see here. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and blocked 2 shots. And added 2 steals. That's a pretty good stat line when you have the likes of Russell Westbrook and James Harden on the floor. So what do you think about Robert Covington and his ability to stay relevant in the NBA when a lot of HBCU players are not really given opportunity to play in the NBA, Kels?
It's great that you mentioned that in the later line when you say what do you think about it, because a lot of, and that's true, because we always talk about ones that's in football, we have some that's over in baseball, but we rarely have any over in basketball. So the fact that you're still there and you're relevant, it does say a lot, and it's showing that we can go down. I won't lie, I would love to see more of us playing basketball, because it's so funny when we have these conversations and these interviews, we can get a load of football players. But it's like, okay, basketball season is here. What do you do now? So, yeah, I would love to see that happen, but I truly think that it's a great thing.
PP, what do you think about Covington and his ability to stay relevant in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for HBCU players, I mean, I think the globalization of NBA really hurt, especially HBCU, but just American players in general, because they've gone into Europe thanks to the Dream Team, and now you see a steady pipeline from Africa sending a lot of that. I mean, the top players are making it to the league, and now Australia, of course. So it's really, I mean, you have to really just stand out like Covington has. You just have to really just stand out as an HBCU player to get even a G League look, let alone an NBA look. So anytime you can get a HBCU player in the league and stay like him and Kyle O'Quinn, it's good.
Exactly. I mean, we need to have more. We know our HBCU players are athletic. We have a few in the G League, but we want them to get to the big time. We want them to get to the NBA so that others can follow in their footsteps. Next up, we also had signing day, and we're not going to recap every SWAC school or every HBCU school. We do have 2 Valley alums and 1 Southern alum, so we will talk about our school signing day. Kels, what do you think about the class that Coach Odom's brought in?
Coach Odom's brought in what he needed. He said he made that very plain. It was a great feeling because one of my friends here from New Orleans, his little cousin, signed from Texas, so I think that, again, we signed what we needed, and I think we did what we needed to do. I'm satisfied with it, but, of course, like I always say, the game has to be played, so we'll see what this class turns out to be like in the fall.
Right, and looking at this class, Odom's loaded up on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, a lot of linebackers, a lot of linemen, a couple of defensive backs, a couple of offensive tackles, because your Jaguars are the defending SWAC West champs. And my good friend Perry feels like that y'all are going to repeat as SWAC West champs and that you are going to dethrone Alcorn. So this is the chance to do so. I mean, bringing back a lot, bringing back a talented quarterback. And we already know that Coach Odom's going to have those young Jags chopping wood, carrying water. So, hey, we'll see. PP, our Delta Devils, I'm tired of dwelling in the cellar. But we signed one young man that looks like he's going to help us win some games. And he looks like Corey Holmes. Do you remember Corey Holmes, PP?
Yeah, he was there when. Yeah, I think you were there too. Yeah, he was there when we were there both there. Yeah.
So the running back I'm talking about is the Fabian Fant. I mean, this young man ran for over 300 yards in a high school game this year. So he's a local product from Greenwood that decided to stay home. So just to talk about some of our signees, PP, that you know of, other than Fant.
That was the big.
He was.
Yeah, Fant was the. And the thing about it is nobody else offered him, and that was like, wow, 2,300 yards, almost 30 touchdowns, about 10 yards a carry, and nobody else offered him. So hey, it's good that he's the son of Valley alum, so it's good that he got to stay home. We pretty much feel. He did most of his work at the JUCO in December as far as filling in what we needed,
right? Defensive
line. And especially secondary help, because that was the weakness of the defense last year. And then signing day as far as this year, last week is concerned. Technically last week, but anyway, beefed up in the offensive line. Got one guy out of Mohead, 6'9", 370. That's
wow, 6'9", 370.
Yes, 6'9", 370.
He was a few people this year. Y'all better watch out for Valley. We're gonna see. But we want to congratulate all of the HBCU signees across the HBCU landscape in the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, the SEAC, the GCAC, and all of the NAIA HBCUs, because, even though we don't get a chance to talk about all of you, we still love you all, and we be watching. I know since I've been on this show with Kills, I've had a chance to learn about HBCUs that I didn't know existed, because I was just so SWAC focused. So, HBCUs that play football, that are NAIA, we'll be watching. West Virginia State, yeah. So, I didn't really know much about, Langston until, got on this show with Kells. So, hey, HBCU football is on the rise at every level. So, Kells, what's your message for all of the new HBCU signees?
I was excited. Honestly, I looked across the board. I was excited. I would say I was excited for Alcorn in 27. They lost a lot and they brought in a lot, so I was excited. And I don't know if everybody looked at the geographics, but I do. I kind of look at where we're coming from. So I looked at them. They went across the board. They went to California. They went to Arizona. Of course, they hit Mississippi, Georgia, Louisiana. They went to quite a few places. But I think I was more so blown away with North Carolina A&T. North Carolina A&T did a different type of recruiting. They got a lot of transfers in, and they just did a different type of recruiting. Morehouse got some studs in, Savannah State, Mouse looks like they're going to be a repeat. It was just a good thing. And then you had people that just wanted to post their signing day at like 7 o'clock at night. By that time, I was dead tired. I was like, okay, I'm at work. I'm watching everything from 8 to 5. By 5:05, I'm like, okay, y'all, like it's 8 o'clock and you still sitting down. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to catch y'all when everybody else come out, because it was just too much after that. But it was a great thing. It was great. It was great. Signing day is very draining, but it was a good thing.
Always. All right, before we start our conversation on the Big South move from North Carolina A&T, have one more topic we want to cover. A football coach has been hired. What's that, Kels?
Break before we go into this topic, and then that other.
I didn't hear you.
Commercial.
Go ahead and take a commercial break.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll back to experience after this quick commercial break.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience. And there has been a new head coach hired for Howard. Larry Scott has been hired as the new head coach for the Howard Bison after the horrendous hire they had last year. Larry Scott does not really have much connection to HBCUs, just like Prince did, but he's a different type of coach. Before we talk about Scott, as far as his background, Kels, what do you think about the hire, and were you expecting Howard to hire from the HBCU ranks? Maybe bring back one of their alums that has experience coaching, like a Ted White.
No, but I did talk to one of my colleagues that's from Florida, that is a huge Gator fan, and let's just say he said that they got a great thing with this coach coming in. He was like, they really got something good with him coming. He's like, he's a really good coach. And I mean, of course, I looked at all of his background, USF, Hurricanes. Everything he's done has been all Florida. And I'm excited, but I don't think at this day and age, at this point, I don't think, it's good to go to dig, to get pull from within. But at this day and age, I believe most people are looking at who can win and who can get them out of whatever situation they're in. And if it's someone outside of the family that's qualified, then it's someone outside the family that's qualified. So I don't think the situation that Howard was in, I think they were just trying to dig themselves out of there and trying to get this black cloud from over their head, because it went from one thing to the next. It just went from you're knocking off UNLV, knocking off teams like that, to, okay, here we are in the transfer portal. Here we are having issues with. It just went from one thing to the next, and it was a black cloud. I think they were just trying to move to get things done. So hopefully it's a great move for them.
Right. PP, what's your opinion on Mr. Scott? Oh, I guess PP's gone. Well, I'm going to give my opinion on Mr. Scott. This is a man who has worked his way up the coaching ranks. He started out coaching in high school, then coached at his alma mater in South Florida, then coached at Miami, became the interim head coach at Miami, and led the Hurricanes to a 4-2 record. They lost in the Sun Bowl. So that would look to me as they were not close to being bowl eligible, but after Al Golden was fired, the young Hurricanes rallied around Coach Scott, and they went 4-2 to finish the season, third in the Coastal Conference. After Miami, he went to Tennessee. Then he coached at Florida, and now he becomes the new head coach at Howard. I do not foresee the craziness and environment that was there under Prince from Coach Scott. I really didn't expect it from Prince until I read about his background, and I was like, yep, he's done this before. But with Coach Scott, I think we have a coach who was ready to prove himself for his first college head coaching as far as permanent head coaching position. We know he can do it at an interim level. And put it like this here. Y'all know the last interim head coach to become a permanent head coach and lead a team to a championship? Last college interim coach to lead his team to a bowl and then get a head coaching position and then lead his team to a championship in any league.
No.
Ed Ogeron at LSU. So if
I don't watch LSU. Sorry.
I'm down here. So, and I follow Coach O since his days at Miami. But if he can translate that interim coaching experience to permanent head coaching experience, because we know he's done it and he's won games as the leader of a program, I think this is going to be a good hire for Howard. Definitely a good hire for the MEAC, because, with our next discussion, we need for the MEAC to play ball. Man, I like this hire. I can't wait to see what he does with this program that was on the rise before a coaching change took. Fell into an abyss for a year. Now they're ready to rise from the ashes again in the MEAC. So congratulations to Coach Howard. Coach Scott. And I hope he's successful. Now, since we are in the MEAC, the conversation that we're going to have is going to be one that I was hoping we get some people to call in because it was such.
Before we go there, because we're in football, and I don't for this, and this is not a school we talk about often.
Okay.
Florida Memorial University. Of course, everyone knows they're bringing their football team to the school this year, 2020. So, of course, they're talking about being a part of this historical moment, but they are bringing their football team to campus. And what comes with the football team? Ding, 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 a marching band. So this year, they will have football team and a marching band. They're expanding both programs. And they were asking for, students to actually come out and try out or whatever. So, it's a great thing for them to be able to have the football and the band at the same time. So good luck to them on that front.
Well, that is awesome because, if you have a football team at HBCU, you got to have a marching band. And
absolutely.
I think this is going to be something that's going to be great for the culture of Florida Memorial. Another
Correct.
marching band to talk noise and to possibly, bring their own style to HBCU band
right.
head phenomenon. But earlier this week, some news came across the wire that didn't really shock a lot of people, but it hurt a lot of feelings across the HBCU landscape as a whole. And that is North Carolina A&T decided to leave the MEAC and join Hampton in the Big South. Now, when Hampton left, it was a lot of hurt feelings because Hampton just like, oh, we out. We're not going to wait. We out. Bye. Well, North Carolina A&T is going out the right way, but it seems to me there's a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of angry, not just Aggie fans, but just people across HBCU landscape that are upset that our Celebration Bowl champion is leaving the MEAC and joining the Big South. Kels, I know you have an abundance of opinions or things to say about this. Let's hear it, ma'am. What do you think about this move to the Big South?
First, I'll start off by saying thank you to my friend that's an alum of North Carolina A&T that sent me the story firsthand. So I was like, okay, and everybody was like, Kels, wait, where did that come from? I'm like, this is really coming from their alumni. But at first I tried to be positive about it, and somebody else had to tell me how to look at it in different angles, and I did. I looked at it from this angle of, it's a positive thing, grow, and you want to expand, you want other opportunities, and that's the great thing. And so I think it's the great thing when you want to grow and you want to expand and you want to expand new things and you want to go outside of your comfort. It's not a bad thing. You work so hard for it. You don't work that hard to stay the same. But there's the but. When I looked at it from the other angle, you have this team that has been successful in this sport, in football, over the last couple of years. And what's happening is they're looking at how they have managed to be competitive, how they have managed to knock off teams, how they have managed to continuously win Celebration Bowl, how they have managed to be a school, and I consider them, they're elite on that side. They have managed to do all of those things. And truth be told, people always talk about the athletics, but you really have to understand that they are a really well-respected HBCU. They truly are. And that's by UNC and everybody on down, and their enrollment is through the roof right now. So people have to understand the logistics behind that. So saying all that to say this, it's kind of like going back. It's like deja vu. They saw what we had, and they came, and they saw the best of the best, and they figured, okay, well, they got this, they got that, let's pull them. So instead of pumping into your conference and continuing to build up your sports in your conference, because right now the basketball teams both are playing lights out. You want to pull them out of this conference, put them over here with Hampton as well. So now it's like the conference is starting to dismantle because there's so many issues going on in the MEAC And when you pull the strongest suitor out, it's like a domino effect. Now everything is starting to fall. And although I was happy in the beginning, in the end, it made me angry to know that you talk about how it's going to benefit and you talk about the distance and the travel and the things that's cut, but you never not once stop to ask any of the alums what they think. You never stop to ask any of the fans what they thought, former players, people of that like you never did. You voted and you went on about your business because it's something you were talking about 2 or 3 years ago, so it wasn't new to me anyway, but you finally did it. And I think that it's so unfair when you start looking at it to just pull them out like that. And it's just like you just kind of leave it hanging in the balance.
PP, you back?
Yeah.
All right. What's your say on the Aggies' final season in the MEAC and to join the Big South?
Man. I'm glad Keisha kind of said something that I was going to hit on as far as not only with, I remember Tariq, he came out, he just straight out said it. He's disappointed that they were pulling out because of the HBCU. Yeah. And then, like I said, the alums, then it kind of hit them out of nowhere as far as them making the move. My thing that made me angry about it is the fact that, let me see, Presbyterian, everybody's pretending like the Big South is just some great conference or whatever. Right now, they got 7 members, 7 football schools. They're much bigger in basketball, but right now they only got 7 football schools, which now, 6, because Presbyterian is leaving. They're gone. That was their last year in the Big South. So the last 2 members to join the Big South have been Hampton and A&T. They literally saved a dying ship, and not only was that ship dying, they went and ran into a PWI conference. But when you ask what's wrong with the MEAC or whatever, what's wrong, nobody want to give you a straight up answer as far as is it the leadership or is it what's really going on? That's just, to me, that's borderline like traitorous, man. You rather go and help out another conference rather than HBCU brotherhood or whatever. Is it HBCUs? If HBCUs are supposed to matter, does that mean HBCU conference is supposed to matter? Or is it, everybody supposed to look out for themselves? Everybody said, look out for self. Okay, that may be true, but it was the celebration. Ain't no denying it. The Celebration Bowl is what took A&T to the next level. Yeah, the leadership there has a good part to do with it as well, but ain't no doubt about it. The Celebration Bowl played a major role in the application boost and everything as far as exposure is concerned. So for them to do that and really just say, hey, we expose, saving money, yada, yada, yada. Monmouth and North Alabama are further away than the current school that they're the furthest from in the MEAC right now. So I'm not buying the money excuse. Then there's another factor in as far as the Big South is supposed to be part of they're forming a mega conference, I think next year, the United Atlantic Conference. So Big South members will be part of that conference for all other sports. But still, it just left a lot of sour taste, not only in A&T people with A&T, but just HBCUs in general. You literally just taking your ball and running tail to another conference, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. With me being an HBCU alum, I definitely echo the feelings that both of you have, because we don't want our HBCU conferences to die out. We don't want our HBCU institutions to suffer. And when you take our best away from us, where does that leave the rest of us, so to speak? But there has been rumors in the past when I was a kid, when Jackson State was dominant in football, about them making the jump to FBS. There have been rumors about Grambling making the jump to FBS when they were dominant. And with North Carolina A&T being dominant, beating some FBS squads, there have been rumors about them maybe jumping ship to the FBS. Would people be upset if North Carolina A&T just decided to go FBS independent and not switch to a PWI conference at the same level? I mean, because the Big South is also an FCS conference. They're not one of the stronger conferences, but they're an FCS conference and they do participate in the FCS playoffs. Correct, Kels? I think yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how would you feel if North Carolina A&T just decided to go FBS independent rather than going to an FCS conference, Kels?
Care where they go, I'm still gonna be mad. So I don't care where they go because you aborting the ship. I don't care where you go. You're not staying with it. Like if they said, okay, because there's a lot of rumors about who's going where and who could possibly come to the SWAC,
right?
And all these other things. It's like all I do is take one person to move, and here come all the rumors. The rumor mill been open for 3 days, so. I don't care where they go. I don't care if somebody's like, oh, that's not major. If they had a win, I was like, it's major because you're shifting. You're the strongest suitor in the conference. So yes, it is. So, and I don't think people think on the first thing was like, oh, they're not going to win championship. People are not thinking about that in the first move. That's not the first thing that they're thinking about. When they talked about logistics, they're talking about the average miles for Bigsouth schools, like 154 miles. So, of course, that makes it easier for their fans, parents, and fellow students. But how many butts are you going to have? Like, they're talking about postseason. It's a bunch of different stuff. Like I said, I don't care where they go. I'm still going to be mad. I don't care if you go next to it to be pissed off.
Well, because, like I said, the Reach-Your-O was like, people were upset that Hampton left. And also Savannah State left and moved down, but that was financial. People weren't upset about Savannah State. I think they were actually encouraged to move down. Like people are trying to encourage our Delta Devils to move down. But the way Hampton left a sour taste in people's mouths. I think people are putting their tongues out their mouths so they don't have to have this taste with the way the Aggies are leaving. And the thing is, they really weren't supposed to play in the Celebration Bowl this year. If FAMU was eligible, they would have been the MEAC champs and represented the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl. So, is FAMU going to be on probation next year? Can they?
Yep.
They still will be.
Yep.
That sucks.
3 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, no one wants North Carolina A&T to win the MEAC championship. Definitely don't want them to win. But this is just like, who was that who tried to take the championship to that's like Bret Hart trying to take the WWE championship to WCW. You know what I'm saying? No one wants our champion to just leave us like that. And when I say our champion, I'm meaning our national champion being North Carolina A&T is the Celebration Bowl champion, unless someone dethrones them. So we don't want that. That's going to definitely leave a bitter taste in our mouth for our national HBCU national champion to take their ball and go over to a PWI conference and still want us to come play with them. Y'all can come over and play, but we going to leave y'all. Y'all can still come visit.
And so and this is going back, we talk again, this is a thing I want to tap in. You talk about the culture. And again, they talk about what the perks are, but nobody stopped to even think about how this would affect the culture. Like you just didn't stop to think about it. And I did. If they're still an HBCU, but it's the same thing with Hampton, the same thing with Tennessee State. You start moving these schools out of the conferences, and instead of you strengthening our conferences, you're weakening our conferences and you're dismantling our conferences to strengthen other dying conferences. And it's not fair. It's not fair. And I think that we know it's just a business. We know it's business and it's money moves, and you didn't even think about how this would affect other people.
Should North Carolina A&T care what the other HBCUs think?
If you were alumni, what would you think?
I'll be hot. If I'm hot, I'll be mad.
So then why do you think other people wouldn't be hot? Because there's a lot of people that have connections to that school, be it alumni, be it boosters, be it donors. You can have connections to places and not be alumni.
That's correct.
And I say that out of experience. Literally, you can be doing whatever you do and be connected to schools out of that. But it's a business, and that's all it is. But I don't think it was just a business. And like I said, when they had the name change, I believe, of the stadium or whatever it was, is when it started. So the conversation has just been going on, and they have been talking about it, but boom, it just happened. Like, okay, now it was so random. It was like, okay, Thursday, Friday, boom, we put it out there. So they have been talking about it.
Right.
Because you didn't just come up with it and we just going to have a press conference on Friday.
Especially with all the noise talking that went on with Hampton. I mean, this had to be going on. This had to be going on knowing what Hampton was going to do. Like,
they probably going on with them the same time. They probably thinking the same time.
Yeah, you think they was probably thinking about leaving together? And North Carolina A&T's like, nah, we're going to let y'all take the heat. We gonna leave it right
y'all
way.
Taking the heat right behind them. They gotta come hold y'all hand and talk about it. And they gotta come have a conversation with y'all because y'all decided to leave. And because y'all left, and y'all gotta take the heat. And they gotta take the heat with y'all. It's just a bad situation. Like I said, I don't care where they go. I was gonna be pissed off. And since we own Hampton, I'm sorry, but before we switch, are you ready to switch from there? Or are we still on that?
We still on that, but I know what you're finna say. Go ahead. One of my favorite players.
I was saying, while we're on Hampton, Monet Davis, she did make her debut at Hampton University softball. And, of course, everybody knows that she had a stellar high school career while she was in Philadelphia. That was about 6 years ago. Of course, everybody across the world was watching her in the Little League World Series. And then, of course, on Saturday, she did make her collegiate softball debut in front of about 100 fans. So, congratulations to her. Again, she became the first little girl in Little League World history to pitch a winning game. So, congratulations to her. And then the Pirates did beat North Carolina A&T yesterday, 15-4. Congratulations to her and the Hampton Pirates.
Right. So to end the conversation, we're just gonna merge these two questions. Who steps up, and will there be any more defections or additions? Kels.
So who stepped up at this time? FAMU. Who, whenever they decide to get off, FAMU is gonna be the next thing. We're gonna get back to seeing old FAMU ball. So FAMU is the person that's gonna step up. Bethune-Cookman is just not happening. So I'm gonna play this in three ways. I'm gonna throw it out there in 3 ways. North Carolina Central has to step up, FAMU has to step up, and Howard has to come in there within the next 2 years.
What about South Carolina State and Coach Buddy?
What about South? Not South Carolina State. Yeah, not South Carolina State. Not right now.
Not right now. Not with Coach Buddy.
We got to get our enrollment over 1,000 people for South Carolina State. See, they're in a dire situation. We're not even talking about athletics. You have to be able to have students registered to have a school open to have an athletic program.
You're 100%.
So that's why I didn't go to South Carolina State route.
All right. But what about the school that has beaten the Aggies the past 2 years?
You think? Did you see their recruiting class? Morgan State did pretty good in their recruiting class, but yeah, no, I'm still going to go with FAMU. And this might give North Carolina Central time to shine, but FAMU, once they come off of this probation, I say FAMU. I think FAMU is going to take the reins. If FAMU play like they played last year, they're going to be okay.
All right. Now, additions and defections. Who else is going to leave? Who they going to add?
Yeah, seriously, they did say leaving. I promise. I don't know if y'all heard the same rumor, but they said leaving coming to the SWAC could be a possibility of FAMU, Bethune-Cookman, and South Carolina State.
Wait. Them three coming to the SWAC?
That is what I heard. I said, well, that means 3 people would have to leave in order for 3 to come. So I was like, who over there got money like that? Don't say nobody. I could only see like Alabama A&M, but I just don't see. I mean, Alabama A&M, Alabama State is what it was rumored a couple of years ago, and they shut that down at Alabama A&M. So I just truly don't believe. I just truly don't believe it's gonna happen. But we gonna see. But again, I mean, I would be okay with FAMU. They just gonna have to come over there to the east with y'all. They can't come over there to the west now. They're just gone on over there.
You don't want FAMU to be your west rival. I mean, that would make the West is already top heavy.
That's right. So Alcorn don't really have too many people to argue. Don't have nobody to argue with, so they can come over there with them. Yeah, come over there on y'all side. We don't.
PP.
We ain't got time.
Your opinion on that?
Okay. If you ask me who would leave, I would Hampton. I mean, not Hampton. Howard would probably want to run up behind. Well, not run up behind, but they would need a traveling partner as far as going behind Hampton. And then I would probably say Central, since they're like, I think they were the last school to join the MEAC, I believe.
Right.
It was either Central or Savannah State. Those were one of the last 2 to move up from D2 to D1. So I would say either one of those 2. The only team I could see really leaving the SWAC would be Prairie View and Alabama State.
To go to the MEAC?
Because they got to leave to another conference.
Oh.
I mean, Alabama State there was a memo a few years ago. Alabama State was getting looked at by the Sun Belt because of their facilities in that football stadium. So I think they would move up. I'm not saying they would do it, but they would move up before moving laterally. The only lateral move I can see is the OVC. And that's about it, So, and PV to the Southland. That's about it.
When you said you made a good point when you mentioned Savannah State. I bet Savannah State's glad they moved when they did, though. I bet they're glad they took that move when they did and took a move at the right time. They took a move at the right. Looking at it now, thinking about that the other day. Looking at it, they took a move at the right time.
Looks like
and nobody got everybody. If they moved down to D2, nobody was gonna be mad at them moving up down.
Not at all. And they were, because they know they were struggling and they needed to be, but then they turned around and pretty much wiped out everything, just did their thing over here in the SEAC. So, it's, I don't know. I'm still going to be mad about A&T moving, but the only thing I can be concerned with is what we doing over here in the SWAC is, what our team's going to do. How did y'all feel about y'all recruiting classes and other people's recruiting classes?
Yes, indeed. All right, so we got about 5 minutes.
I was asking y'all.
Oh,
I was asking y'all, how did y'all feel about y'all recruiting class?
Oh, I mean, I like the Fabian Fant. Like we talked about it, earlier.
Okay.
I mean, I think if he comes in and plays as a true freshman, I mean, if he can play or have the impact, anything like Corey Holmes did when we were at Valley, I mean, that's the last time we were a threat to possibly, maybe win the East when he was in our backfield. So, and when you look at him, he doesn't look like a true freshman. He looks like he's chiseled and ready to just take the ball and run in the SWAC already. I mean, I don't want to, try to put too much pressure on him, but I mean, if we can get a couple more guys like him in the Delta to stay home, I mean, we can maybe make some noise, But we're going to spend these last couple of minutes just running through basketball scores. And unfortunately for the rest of the SWAC, the Jackson State women are still undefeated in the SWAC play, blowing past Alcorn 76-66. My good friend Tamika Reed got her eye on that SWAC regular season crown. Prairie View defeats Texas Southern 50-47. Our Devilettes fell to Alabama State 66-61. Kels, your Lady Jags beat up on Grambling State 70-51. What do you think about that?
I always say the girls get it done. We're just waiting on the guys to continue to get it done. So I'm excited for the girls because you know what they did last year. So, I mean, I do agree. Tamika is really eyeing this. She knows what she got to do. And I do props to Jackson State because they really are. And when they beat the opponent, they beat the opponent. They truly beat their opponent.
No, I got a chance to see, what's that, number 4, the Mississippi State transfer?
Alicia.
Ooh, man. I mean, it was just pass the ball to her. She do one move, and man, she's the real deal, man.
That's good stuff.
All right, and so in the men, all right, Prairie View beats up on Texas Southern 69-59. Alabama State beats our Devils 87-74. Jackson State blows out Alcorn 86-57. Grambling State swept your Jaguars 66-62. Alabama A&M defeats Pine Bluff 58-54. I mean, the SWAC men is just a toss-up. I mean, that's a toss-up. Let's see, run down the MEAC scores. In the women's, Bethune-Cookman blew out North Carolina A&T 70-50. I think them leaving gonna give a lot of teams a lot of ammunition to try to send North Carolina A&T out as losers. Howard blast FAMU 82-56. Maryland Eastern Shore beats Morgan State 71-61. Norfolk State beats Delaware State 65-57. North Carolina Central beats up on Coppin State 58-44. And in the men, FAMU beats Howard 82-78 in overtime. Bethune-Cookman defeats North Carolina A&T 78-73. North Carolina Central defeats Coppin State 68-63. Morgan State defeats Maryland Eastern Shore 61-53. Norfolk State defeats Delaware State 85-57. Kels, have you been able to get to any more games? Because I know you be out there working hard in the SEAC.
I did do Morehouse and Savannah State on last week, and Morehouse did win by 5. I will be at Clark Atlanta on tomorrow, and I got to check my schedule because for some reason I keep mixing up the teams that they're playing. That's how bad I am. Like, my mind is everywhere. But I do know I'm at Clark Atlanta tomorrow night. And then, of course, it is the battle. This weekend coming up. It's the two-time battle. You call it the battle on the Hardwood. That's Alabama State, Alabama A&M in Montgomery, and also Clark Atlanta and Morehouse over at Clark. So we got some double headers going on this weekend. There's some good games going on coming on this weekend. But I will be here in Atlanta to cover that Morehouse and Clark Atlanta game.
All right, so let's just go over these scores in women's basketball in the SEAC from yesterday. Fort Valley State defeats Benedict 63-60. Central State defeats Spring Hill 72-63. Clark Atlanta defeats Benedict. That can't be right. It's got to be wrong. Oh, well. Clark Atlanta defeats Payne 77-62. Yeah, that was a typo. And Lane defeats Miles 70-64. In men's basketball from this past weekend, Tuskegee defeats Kentucky State 86-80. Savannah State defeats Morehouse 73-66. Central State defeats Spring Hill 86-79. Fort Valley State falls to Benedict 68-62. Clark Atlanta blows out Payne 72-52. Miles beats Lane 47-41. And in the CIAA, I gotta talk about this. Congratulations to LU. The Lions basketball team has earned their first national ranking in program history. I think that's awesome. They have been tearing up the CIAA this year. I mean, LU has normally been a bottom feeder in the CIAA, but the women this year are showing that, hey, we're going to win this year. And just to run down these scores for the women. for this past weekend. Johnson C. Smith blows out Claflin 72-43. St. Aug's edges Winston-Salem State 67-64. Virginia Union beats up on Elizabeth City State 76-41. On the men's side, Johnson C. Smith defeats Claflin 88-67. St. Aug's defeats Winston-Salem State 69-68. And Virginia Union defeats Elizabeth City State 67-65. And that's our show for tonight. Kels, go ahead and close us out.
Okay. Before we close out, I do want to say this is one of a major things that we did. Coming to Grambling State University on February 28th, they are going to have host actually Michael Vick. This is for GSU's Grambling's Football Awards, which will be, they'll start their meet and greet at 5 and then their football awards at 6:30. So Michael Vick is actually going to be at Grambling. I think it's a really good look. I just told him to go live. It's a really good look. And for anybody that missed Michael Vick's story, part 1 and 2 was just amazing. But I think it's a great look for them. But that is our weekend. Y'all roll with us next week because I'm pretty sure we're going to have more stuff going on this week. We making moves. There's so much going on. So that's it. That's our show. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out. We out of here.